I want to start by saying again that it's so good to be back with you in this space, in this house, after my slow, disciplined, measured, and not necessarily easy re-entry back from sabbatical. It's really good to see you. And I want to thank you. I want to thank Christ Community Church, my church, home, and family, for time and space that we so desperately, Matt and I, needed. In his tender mercies to us, he knew, the Lord knew, for my health and for our health, that I needed this time. So thank you. It's a deep thank you. You don't all know all the things, the contributors to that, but thank you. Matt and I are grateful to testify that we are healthier than we've been in a really long time, and that couldn't have happened without this time away. We are literally walking in gratitude to you and to the Lord, the giver of such good things. We're grateful for the path of health that we're now on. I want to give a special thanks to Maria Webb and Trish Nuroff. I don't know if they're here. Also, could not have done it without some very practical, logistical, and pastoral shepherding help with the worship ministries, which includes the entire AV booth, which is a completely different team of people. So thank you, and thank you to the teams and worship leaders, Joe. I could name everybody, I'm not going to, but thank you. Like, the thanks and the gratitude is overflowing. This morning, I just want to share some of what the Lord did during our time away. I can't share all of it. He did so much, honestly, that I stopped writing it all down. And that actually felt really odd to me. It felt almost like a dishonor, but I felt like he was just saying, just be, just receive what I'm doing. You can take some notes, but you're not taking notes for the test, like just be in what I'm going to do, in what I'm doing. He just wanted me to live in rest. And rest actually took a good bit of discipline on my part. So I want to share with you some of what the Lord did and what he gave, what he encouraged from the very start. And that is that word I just said, rest. All caps, R-E-S-T. He actually spelled it out for me in different ways. So I'm a very simple person, so he has to put things right in front of me. I'm a dreamer and I'm a seer, so he has to do that. Rest for our souls. I think I told you when we started the sabbatical, or I told many of you, so Matt and I, my husband and I, play Scrabble from time to time in the evenings. And at the start of sabbatical, you know, you pull out the 7 letters, the 7 tiles, and you line them up on your thing. And I pull out the first, 4 letters, and it is not in this order, but they are the letters R-E-S-T. And then I'm like, oh gosh, here it goes. I know what he's gonna do. And I pull out the next letter, and it's an I. And I'm like, he's gonna spell resting. Like, God, I know how he reaches, like, he's doing this again. So R-E-S-T-I. The next 2 letters were W and E, which is we. So it was not only I rest, but we, as in my husband and I, rest. So it made it very clear that this sabbatical was not just for me, it was for us, for Matt Bernstein, Drew, and Anna. The Lord gave us rest in ways that we needed or hadn't had. So we were not only able, but given permission to just rest, not produce, not come up with something, just rest. Now, Matt was still working, so he didn't have the privilege that I had, like that sabbatical, but he needed a break from a lot of the things that he was doing here. He does a lot. Because sabbatical came about much sooner than we had originally planned, we didn't have the time to plan ahead. You know, usually you schedule out your spiritual director, a counselor, a retreat, things. We didn't have any of that. So it was different in that sense, but I just have to say, I'm looking at Jeff and Tom, what a gift it is to have pastors fully supporting this time of rest and restoration for Matt and I. Jeff and Tom absolutely encouraged this rest and this health for our souls, even with a much earlier timeline. So I want to thank you specifically for that, not only for encouraging it, but swiftly making a way for it to happen. Thank you. That doesn't always happen. So during this time of rest, I discovered over time that the Lord knew what I would come face to face with. He knew what my heart needed to go through, even the hard things of isolation and letting the entangling happen. He knew also the tender and the perfect way to my heart. He knew precisely how he would draw me with his cords of loving kindness. Where man didn't know the intricate pathway to this particular corner of my heart, he knew exactly what to do to not only love me exactly there, but how to revive and resuscitate that back to life. And that's between me and the Lord, but I want to testify to what he did. So as I rested, the untangling began to happen. That was just a gift. I didn't know what that would feel like. Weight and confusion lifted. Color and nesting. After our son died, we moved into a new house because all his personal effects were delivered to our old house, and we just couldn't fit with a whole other household of stuff there. I didn't want to nest as a grieving person, so we were kind of living, but without color, just without nesting. You know, like when you make a home or you make a place, to live. So color and nesting started happening in our home. I discovered a new album of an artist that I really just resonate with their particular journey and even the way they wrestle with things as a poet. So he gets a little messy with his, there was a lot of poetic things that happened on the sabbatical, so that was part of the poetry and the beauty that happened. I eventually started hearing so much music again on the inside, and that's just another indicator of what God was doing. I actually started dancing, which feels so good. You guys don't know how much I love to move and dance. And that is actually something that helped make me, or gave me the desire to write, because that's another part of an instrument. So there was a real renaissance kind of happening in our home. And the kicker for me is when I get the word from the Lord, let the tuning of the instruments begin. And that's the word of, okay, here we go. This is revival. There was a revival happening in our home, which leads me to the next bit of how God restored us. God not only gave us rest, but he was about the business of restoring health in every area. He restored physical health, mental health, and one of the bigger gifts was just the restoration of music. It's one of the greatest joys, and at times one of the biggest, greatest battlegrounds of my life. But he restored everything from listening to playing music and to writing. And that's a big deal. You'd think as a musician there'd be a ton of music in our home. It's not that way. It's a battleground at times. I started to just enjoy the call on my life once again. And that's key. It took time to get there, though. There was a lot of untangling, a lot of untethering. Those were words that a friend helped me to see, bring clarity to what was going on. Thank you for all the little pastors around us who speak those words into our lives. As I restored, I started smiling more. I was happier. I was on the way to remembering who I really am. I felt like I was in tune with so many things. And as musicians, you know that when you hear things or there's music going on the inside of you that lines up with something, I just felt like I was in tune with not everything, but I felt like I was not in tune with just me and what was going on the inside, but what was going on all around. It's hard to put into words. A lot of poetry happening, a lot of things that can't maybe get so clearly laid out here. We weren't in the position to really plan trips, but we were able to see most all of my family with one trip. It was like a 4-day trip to the Midwest, and that was absolutely life. So as the sabbatical began to wrap up, I could close my eyes and literally just hear the symphony of sound happening, and I would just go and write. I would just start writing, and that has not been the case, in the last handful of years. Towards even the end of the month, like the 25th, I have some dates here on April 25th. I felt new. I felt new in so many ways. Even I got in the car and there was a Beethoven overture on, and it was the overture was called Name Day. I felt like he had given me a new name. I felt like he was changing my name. In fact, I said to Tom the first day I saw him, allow me to reintroduce myself. I actually shook the man's hand, allow me to reintroduce myself. That is the newness of what I was feeling and am feeling. I feel brand new. Now, the re-entry has not necessarily been easy. Jeff did warn me that there would be some grief involved, potentially. And some of the contributors to the need of sabbatical are still there and still need to be addressed, which we're working on. But we are on a beautiful path of health as a family. And I'm just humbled and honored that the Lord, in his love and mercy, saw fit to tenderly care for us in this way. And swiftly, we have been made new. And this guy back here too. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't big things right in front of us. Many of you know, not everybody knows, but a lot of you know, that Matt and I have been planning to open a store up in Chincoteague, Virginia this summer. Something we've been planning for about a year, and today, in fact, is Matt's last Sunday with us until sometime in the fall. My sabbatical was supposed to be during the time of this running the store, so as not to conflict with my work here. But the Lord knew our needs better than we knew for ourselves. And I believe what he's doing is that I need to live and breathe in this healing before I can fully immerse myself back into this environment. I just need to work the muscles of this new life. So I'm not planning dropping big news, but I will be leading worship here through the month of June. But then I'll be taking a leave of absence while we run the store. I just wanted to. A lot of you know that, but some of you probably don't. But I wanted to say that because that is something that we are facing. But it's necessary, and the people walking us through this re-entry see the benefit of me flexing and working these muscles of breath, of hope, of living in what God did and not rushing back in, not rushing because it was a slow re-entry, but to breathe with this, to live in the sunshine, live in happiness, live in joy. This is a gift from the Lord. And I want to thank you, Christ Community Church, for your part in helping us, Matt and I, and our daughter, get to a real path of health, of restoration for our souls. All praise be to the one who knows exactly what we need. I'm going to move up to the piano because I just want to sing a song I used to lead here, but I just want to testify to what he can do. So band, I'm going to call you back up. As I said earlier, he is literally moving a mountain right now. So I am activating faith, my own faith, even by going through.
To lift up my hands to worship.
Amen.
Amen. Blessed be the Lord, who is most worthy of praise. Thank you for listening. Thank you for praising the Lord and for leaning in. I just want to testify, we will do whatever it takes to guard the hearts of not just Matt and Julie, but everyone in here. And so we stand with the Bernsteins in this process of returning and restoring their souls. And so, blessed be the Lord.